right, we're back again, and today we're going to talk about what you should do to your house before you put it on the market, right after this.
Here I come to save the day.
The Mighty House crew is on the job. This is
Mighty House.
Rich with the, there we go. All right. Hey, we're back. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. Also, you can leave a note down below if you've got any comments or questions. And of course, ring that bell. That way you get notified next time we put something on the air. And with that, we'll get started here. If you're going to do this right here, you're going to put your house on the market, there's a couple things you might want to do before you get started with it. And let's get started with the first one there, Rich. What do you think?
Well, so part of this is like maintenance should always be done on your house. So we're going to take kind of a different angle on this. Like everybody always tells you how to doll up your house, you know, the real estate tips to clean your house out, you know, make it look more open and airy. That's not what we're doing today.
No.
Now, we're talking about is helping you decide, should you fix certain things up? Should you let them go? You know, and so on. So this is a little bit different angle.
Should you fix this roof right here before you start?
Now, see, that's a whole thing. That's maintenance should be done.
Right.
Do you have an active roof leak? Then yes, get the roof fixed.
Yeah. Cleaning the gutters.
Yes, clean the gutters. This is not good. Yeah. No bueno.
Right.
But if your roof is 15, 17 years old, but it's not leaking, it's showing its age, and maybe its life expectancy would be 25 on a standard 3 tab.
Sure.
There's still 6 years left.
Yep.
So I would not touch my roof.
Right.
Besides that, you don't know the next owner or the person you sell it to. They might use it as a negotiating tool. Maybe you take $3,000 off because of the life expectancy.
Sure.
Take $3,000 off the price of the house. You don't know. They may want to change the color anyway. So now it's a win-win. They get to choose the new color. You don't have to put out 14 or 15,000. You only give up 3 at the closing or in the offer, and you're good.
Well, and now you don't have to go through the headache of finding a roofer, making sure they show up, making sure your house doesn't get flooded because they didn't put the tarp on right when it rained. So there's a lot of advantages to just letting the next buyer deal with it.
Right. But again, as we said, if it's maintenance item or if it's leaking, no, that definitely should be addressed. Otherwise, you're going to take a really, really big hit. You know what I mean? That's major.
Right.
So that brings us to like sort of the next thing is like anything literally not working. So I think everybody has a reasonable expectation that when they walk into a home, if I see a refrigerator, I would assume when I open the door, it would be cold inside. I mean, it does. It sounds funny, but it's a reasonable expectation.
Sure.
You know, if I put a load of wash in the washing machine, I expect it to at least fill with water, agitate them. Doesn't mean it's a great washing machine. They may not come out clean,
right?
But I expect it to work. If any of those things are actually broken, you have 2 choices. Now, replace it or remove it.
Right.
And allow the buyer to buy what they want. Now, maybe not so easy with a refrigerator, especially these days because they're taking about 4 months to get.
Right. Yeah, they're all back ordered.
Everything's back ordered, right? But if you know a washing machine, you can typically get that. Although I'm on my 4th delivery too, so.
But if the window cranks don't work, you try to open a window and it falls, the screens are ripped, torn, not existent. You know, those kind of things you want to get cleaned up, and it should be a serviceable item that is whatever it is, it should be able to be put into service, and it's not broken. If it's broken, then fix it.
Yeah, and because I mean, you could have outlets that don't work. You maybe have faucets that drip that simply need cartridges. And quite honestly, unless the faucet's more than 30 or 40 years old, you usually can take the cartridges out or at least figure out the faucet. And every Ace Hardware I know
will have a part,
has a huge selection of those cartridges, and it's a couple hours to fix it.
Right.
I mean, you could take a $2,000 hit on your house on your asking price because they don't, your faucet's not working.
Right.
Or you can spend $38 or $15 and, an hour and a half, 2 hours and change it out.
Correct.
Or $100, call somebody. But I mean, still, it's worth it.
Right. I like your drains too. You could call the plumber, just have all the drains rotted, because it's only going to go bad right before you try to sell the house or you put it on the market. That's when you're going to have the problem. So
Right.
have the drains rotted out. If you've got a septic tank, have that pumped and cleaned so that part is done.
And you have documentation on that. And it's important that you actually let your realtor know all this, because it's up to your realtor to let the potential buyers know that all this maintenance has been done,
Right.
and that they may be maintenance free or maintenance lighter for the next 3 to 4 years.
Right.
Especially depending on your home. Let's say you have a home that we would consider a starter home.
Mm-hmm.
Well, a young couple's not going to want those surprises. So it's going to make your house more attractive.
Right.
We have similar situation, down here. I just had a swarm. So we had the house tented and they fumigated it for termites.
The termites swarmed to your house?
Yes.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So what you do is you end up tenting the house and fumigating. It costs a couple of $1,000s. Now, there's evidence of termites being here now. So I go to put my house on the market. Any type of inspection, termite inspection, is going to turn that up.
Right.
But now I have this piece of paper, and it says, yes, we knew, we tented it, and by the way, here's the transferable warranty.
Oh, excellent. Yeah.
So by spending that, I'm not going to take, my house is still marketable. Without that, no potential buyer is going to go, oh yeah, I'll take that one.
Right. Right.
Because they have no idea what they're getting into. So
Sure.
think about those kind of circumstances.
Right. Yeah. That's exactly it. And all your mechanicals, again, I think servicing, have the furnace
Sure.
serviced, the AC serviced, get that all cleaned up. Check the water heater. If it's 15, 20 years old, you may want to replace the water heater, or the furnace. That's up to you.
Or like I said before, if you don't want to, just become more negotiable on your price, saying, you know what, I know the water heater's kind of old, but I don't know if you want a tankless. I don't know if you want a hybrid. I don't know if you got 4 kids, you might want an 80 and I only had a 40.
Right.
I'll take like $1,500 off the sale price, right?
Sure.
You can go do that at your own leisure, and it might work better for you. So.
Right. Well, and you're not going to replace it for $1,500 generally either. It's probably going to cost more to do that. So.
Yeah, they don't know that yet.
No, they don't. So it's a good way to get out of there.
All right. So some of the stuff that can be improvements is are you going to get your money back? So one of the things that comes out every year is the cost versus value report.
Right.
So basically they look at what it costs to, say, put a new roof on your house, what it costs to do a master bath remodel, a kitchen remodel, and so on. And it costs X number of dollars. How much money are you going to get back the first night you sleep in your house upon completion of that?
Right.
And kitchen remodels are still generating the largest return on investment. I think second is like cement siding.
Really?
Because you're updating, going from vinyl siding or something like that to a cement siding.
Right.
But nothing is giving you 100% back. It might give you 80 at best,
Right.
Because of that, if you're going to do that, I mean, why would you spend $10,000 to improve your kitchen so that you can get $8,000 more in your house?
Right.
So knowing that, you're better off leaving the older kitchen, be negotiable on your price, and maybe, especially in this market, you still might get full price offer.
Right.
But if not, if they drop from your asking price $5,000, you're still $5,000 ahead.
Sure.
Because to redo that kitchen would have been 10.
Right. Now, if you're going to put your house on the market in 5 years, you may want to enjoy that kitchen for a little bit and go ahead and do it. And
timing
remodel.
is part of it.
Right. So if you're getting ready to just flip it and turn it over right away, I don't know if you want to go ahead and invest that money. Your realtor's probably going to have a good handle on the market and whether or not that kitchen's good enough. But if you're buying a house from the 40s or 50s and it's got steel cabinetry in it, you may want to actually go ahead and replace it. So it depends on the condition of what it is to whether or not it's going to be able to hit the market and be worth it or not. And you don't have to do a complete remodel, but just take the cabinets out, put in new cabinets, new countertops. You don't have to tear the walls out and do all new insulation and everything like you would if it was a place you were moving into.
So that's one of the things we look at too, is like, is the improvement common to your neighborhood?
Yes.
So what I mean by that is the house behind us, it might need a new roof. I see a little curl in here and so on.
Yep. Back in here. Yep.
But they're fairly much, it's a standard 3-tab.
Yep.
Okay. Now, if I wanted to re-roof that, would it be worth spending an extra $75 to $100 a square for the architectural shingle? Now, it might make my roof look nicer, but that cost is not recoverable if every other house in my neighborhood has a standard 3-tab.
Yes.
So now you've just made it more, what I like to say is saleable, but not more valuable.
Right. Right.
You know,
see,
that's what we always said about leaf guards. I
Yeah.
don't like them. They don't add value. They add marketability, maybe.
Right. See, don't you think like a nice porch right here with a gable roof over this area? That
Oh, absolutely. Something to draw your eye to the front door other than that brown. I mean, that's why you always see on a good Cape Cod, you'd see a red or a green front door so that it would just grab your attention.
Sure. So, but that needs a nice little gable roof right there, a little porch area over the front porch.
Sure, absolutely. I don't disagree with that at all.
But it looked pretty.
It's more marketable. It makes your house look nicer, more marketable.
Right.
So
Exactly.
actually what's surprising is as plain as that house is, but if you look at the chimney over me,
Yep.
that's actually a really nice looking chimney.
Yeah, right in here. You can see right there, they've like rebuilt it from here up. It's like redone there. The masonry's a little bit different.
Yes, but I do like that style of chimney. So
yes,
just to say.
with the flat slate on the top.
Yep. So another thing that you have to watch is if you're going to put the money in. Now, as Ron said, if you're going to stay there 5-6 years, then go ahead. This is not a point to dwell on.
Right.
However, if you're looking to sell the house in the next few months, don't change something because you don't like it and pick a color that everybody else may not like. In other words, don't do it to your taste. You know, that's why neutrals have always been great.
You mean canary yellow or a nice lime green bedroom? Come on. Nothing's better than lime green in the walls.
Right now, white on white on white. Just white on white on white. They can always change the colors. You know, we find these houses with black rooms in them and, you know, $1,600 in paint to get it back to white.
Correct.
Trying to cover it. It's actually cheaper to re-drywall the room. So, but anyway, so yeah, that's a big one. Curb appeal. So going back to what you were just saying about like the gable end there.
Right.
Curb appeal is everything. I mean, have you ever driven by a house just looks like hell? It might be gorgeous inside, but if it has no curb appeal, why would you want to pull up there every night after working?
Yeah. See,
that one, the shrubberies could use some trimmage.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, it could use a little sprucing up on the front there.
Yeah.
Without a spruce, but I mean, you know, it could use.
I see what you did there.
Yeah, see?
Well played, sir. But yeah, no, I think a gable end there. And well, the other thing is too, is that's mostly foundation plantings and nobody really does that anymore. Everything now is layered and so on. Now, but here's the thing. Again, if you're going to be leaving in 3 months, don't get crazy. Just cut everything back. Make it look less overgrown. Like it looks like it's going to be too much like work.
Right.
But if you're going to stay there 5 years, yeah, maybe throw a few shekels at it and get the thing landscaped. You know, throw something in there, make it really nice.
Right.
So
yeah, you can clean it up. And I don't know if you can, let me move over to this side there. See that? There's like a little shrub right in here. Look at this little thing. See that?
yeah, the shrub who thought he could.
Yeah, that needs to go. There you go. So, all right. So
I don't know. I mean, I just even like the shutters, they're over your shoulder.
Yeah.
So they put shutters. Of course, they painted them to match the front door and the garage door.
Yep.
But the shutters are 4 inches away from the windows.
And they're too thin. They should be wider.
Yes. If you're going to do that, the idea of a shutter is to make it look like it can cover your windows.
Sure.
Which those can't.
Correct. In
We
theory.
can go all day. You've also got double or single hungs on your side, and I've got casements or sliders on my side.
Yeah, you do.
So
Yep.
the windows don't match. So what does that tell you? We only did the windows we wanted to do.
Right. Well,
you really chose a good picture.
Yours over there is a picture window too.
Yeah, with flankers.
Right. So that might.
And you
be
thought
like
your
the
bush,
dining-
and you thought your bush was small. Look at mine.
Oh yeah. Oh, what is that down there? Oh man.
That's a weed. That's a weed. That's what I'm talking about. Wouldn't you think a pot of flowers would look better there?
Yeah.
Okay.
So are you guys?
So that's curb
of
appeal.
The curb appeal. Are you
Yeah.
guys going to this open house? with
No.
all the things that you've got over here?
No.
What
no.
if they had balloons and flyers and flags?
No. I
No,
would
but-
be looking at this as, okay, this would be something we can buy and fix up. And put
Exactly.
on-
This would be a house that's an opportunity to a flip because it could be updated well because some of the colors are down. I mean, it's suffering from beige blight.
Right.
You know,
Yes.
that beige, like it's somewhere at some point, Sherwin-Williams and Benjamin Moore and everybody had the same shade of beige in 55-gallon drums and had it on sale or something because
Right.
the number of houses with that beige is just horrible.
So
All right.
with that question,
I digress.
Should you target a certain buyer, like a
First-time home buyer?
home buyer, or a flipper? Should you target somebody with the way that your house is laid out?
Well, absolutely. It depends on your house and your neighborhood.
Right.
I mean, first-time home buyer typically is not in the $800,000 market, right?
Sure.
So you're going to have a whole different animal. But if you're into a small bungalow in the south side of Chicago or something, then yeah, very well maybe a first-time home buyer.
Right. And it has to, you have to look at throughout the whole house and see what condition is everything in. It may be that, like I said, the kitchens and the bathrooms are 50 years old. And it's just really old. So that's going to lend itself towards a flipper more than something that's been remodeled maybe once or twice over its lifespan. And it's okay. Is it current? No, but it's still okay and serviceable. And those you would want to leave alone and not have to mess with.
And I'm still more comfortable buying the house that has had no updates done to it because I'm not buying paint. It's no surprise behind the drywall.
Correct.
You know what I mean? You can paint a pig and underneath it's still a pig. And unfortunately, that's how I feel about flippers.
Yep.
The most of the home flippers are just good at fixing and patching and painting. But the end user is the one who ultimately has to spend a ton of money fixing what they didn't, the mechanicals and so on.
Right.
So it's really tough. And Ron can attest to that.
Yep.
You got to be very careful. You can overdo it and not make out on a flip.
Well, we're doing one right now where we're having to fix everything. The doors, you know how they have a bevel on the doors? They hung the doors backwards.
Cool.
So the bevels go the wrong way as it's closing on the double doors. And then it's just, somebody just was not thinking or didn't know what they were doing. You know, they just hung the doors. And so now we have to take the doors off, reshape them so that they're beveled the right way and put everything back together. And all the other doors around the house, everything's sticking. It's awful. We're reshaping all the doors and the house was just finished. So you run into that stuff all the time.
That's exactly what we're talking about. I mean, and unfortunately, code, even if they had permit, code doesn't require doors to close nicely.
Nope. And it did have a permit on it. It did have a permit.
It just requires the doors to be there. So
Correct.
that's why you have to be very careful. And if somebody's telling me it was recently remodeled, it scares me, which brings us to our last point. The most important thing then. One of two ways. Either before you put your house on the market, get a home inspection done.
Yep.
He will identify problems that will be identified prior to the sale.
Right.
Once you have that report, you can then determine based on how long you're going to be there, the cost of the repair. Do I want to do this or do I use it as a negotiation during the sale price?
Right. Right. Or you use that, you have that list of the inspection, you leave that on the counter and with the receipts of everything that's been repaired based on that inspection. And you know, homes that we've sold, we do that and have the inspection right next to it and people don't even get another inspector. They're going, well, you already
that's
did
the
that.
other thing.
So
if you get a home inspection, if you're buying a home and you get a home inspector, that fee's on you.
Sure.
So if the seller's already had it done and addressed the problems that were identified,
you know, what else you want?
Yeah. Right.
So it's always good. And then NACHI, do you remember what that is? I remember.
Yeah, the
NACHI.
National Association of Certified Home Inspectors.
There you go. Go to NACHI. You can do a quick search, and I'll put a link to their website below. NACHI is a great place across the country that they have inspectors. And I think maybe they're even international now. I'm not sure, but check out the website. And I'll have the link below.
I think they are now that you say that, but it was a little bit.
I think, and some other places like
INICHI, International Association of Certified Home. But anyway, yeah, I mean, No, it's definitely worth spending the money. Get that home inspection done prior to putting on the market so that you can identify possible major issues. If you're not one that has serviced your water heater on a regular basis, your heating and air conditioning units on a regular basis, get all this stuff done.
Yep.
Home inspector will check the venting, make sure you're not going to, backdraft and bring carbon monoxide in the house.
Sure.
May not harm you, but it could kill the next person. Who knows? So.
Yeah, and then they're coming after you. So, all right, with that, hopefully it helps you out and you're more prepared now to put your house on the market. And with that, we'll say keep it square and level.
Until next time.
Until next time. Hey, we pulled it off. It actually kind of worked there.
Exactly. You almost went the other way.
You seemed like you lost where you were heading, though.
I had to hesitate, and I was looking at Rich. He's just starting to laugh. I'm thinking, okay, here we go.
That should help somebody.
Yep.